Children in primary and secondary schools have spent their first week on campuses across the country. School reopened posed a serious challenge because of the difficult socio-economic situation of the country. How good it was for these students to meet their teachers, their friends, their mates, and of course to share pleasantries after 3 months spell at home. However, as those in the francophone part of the country actually enjoy the pleasure to return to school, their counterparts in the English-speaking part of the country are still trapped in lockdown. I'm talking about the northwest and southwest regions. Today's edition of Retrospective will evaluate the first week of school reopening for the year 2024-2025. I'm KEDJANG Henri at Invité. Thanks for joining me. Welcome back. Let's get a very quick look on how the week looked like in some of these schools across the country. Let's get this following report.
The 2024-2025 school year has effectively arrived for these 3-year-old twins, Natasha and Yaris. The parents, after warming water, bathe and dress them up, pull over inside before their new outfits. Uniforms they are to wear every Monday to Friday, then breakfast time. And together with the other schoolgoers, they eat and take packs to be devoured during break. In all this, the excitement of the twins mutual, as they are happy they'll be leaving the house like the others. Such first day of school, one to always keep in record. Lifetime souvenir, the picture taken at home. And then the journey to school, carrying their school bags on their back in the company of the elder brothers and sisters. In the school, the aunties are already present to welcome and place them on seat, positioning the school bags where they are supposed to be placed, telling each to watch so as to facilitate the time to retrieve them. It has already started. As the new auntie places them on their seat to go and get the others, some leave in search of their brothers and sisters. But what really looked cool is the fact that, though the environment and setup is new and strange, none has turned their song yet. That is crying time for the others to join in chorus. First day for this nursery school kids, the first term of the 2024-2025 school year this September 9, 2024.
Administrative and security officials in the Northwest region have described the present wave of killings, kidnappings, and arson as terror banditry. In a recent meeting to prepare the 2024-2025 academic year, the commander of the 5th Gendarmerie region presented measures so far taken to ward off threats to disrupt a smooth takeoff of schools.
Si tous les parents se mettent dans la rue le jour de la rentrée, aucun idiot ne peut tirer sur quelqu'un. Mais vous leur donnez l'occasion de tirer sur vous.
Convened and cheered by the governor, education stakeholders of the government, confectional, lay private and trade unions stated the factors hampering the smooth start of the teaching-learning process.
They should move back to school without any strings, and then the adults sit down to discuss what they have. I mean, we have other institutions that are operating inside the hinterlands, and those institutions, I think, are being allowed to operate. And why is it the schools and the children who have to sit down for 8 years, who have to run behind programs, who have to struggle to catch up programs?
They have to mobilize their children to go back to school. The head of federal instructed necessary measures to accompany class resumption over the country, including the North region. Security measures, administrative measures, to make sure class resume. All measures are set. The schools are just waiting. The children come Monday.
As representatives of the people, parliamentarians of Northwest descent have thrown their weight behind school resumption.
What have the children got to do
what they are trying to do. Let the children go back to school and carry on their studies. Would they one day have to rule a nation of illiterates?
Stakeholders see the rights of the child to education should not be compromised.
Whereas most schools in the Northwest region are caught in a web of ghost town this Monday, September 9, which marks the first day of the 2024-2025 academic year, the town of Nkambe has repeated history by its outstanding show-up in school. Straight away, pedagogy was set on the rails with the teaching-learning process flowing.
Right of a child or a pupil.
Not only have schools begun today, but the turnout has been massive, with thousands of learners from nursery school through primary to secondary and high school, according to the senior prefect of GBHS Nkambe.
Many of us expected it to come back. There were many things that were disturbing us, or they were scaring us that the school will not be secured back. I'm so happy that we are in school, effective, and classes are going on.
The school has resumed. Reopening is effective with teaching, and 319 students answered present, and the teaching and administrative staff are there.
Barely few months as administrator of the subdivision, the divisional officer undertook a tour of 12 schools on a maiden back to school under the rain.
Very, very satisfied, and want to tell that 2024 and 2025 back to school in Nkambe subdivision is effective.
The elite like the parliamentarian from Nkambe Central Honorable Ngala Gerald and Mayor Musa Shamefo have been championing a crusade for peace and respect of state institutions, some of whose results made Nkambe an island of peace since the advent of the present socio-political crisis.
Thanks very much, Sheriff Saleh Ambo Gladys and Morindi for those report of Beatrice Ngamo. My guest is Honorable Fritz ETOKE. He is the CEO of the United Action for the Underprivileged Foundation, the UAUF. And of course, he is the founder of the ETOKE Group of Schools and Academy. Thanks and welcome, Honorable.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I'm doing very well.
But you are not putting on the smile, Honorable. What's wrong?
Well, it's back to school as usual, but it has started similarly in our region, the Southwest region. So I cannot be smiling when we need to encourage people to go to school, because it's because of education that we are today, and we need to encourage those who need to go to school.
Now, what is United Action for the Underprivileged Foundation? What's that?
Yeah, it's a non-governmental organization that was created in 2013, and its objective is to encourage its members to be self-reliant and also to accompany the state in the promotion of education and sports. That is why we, on a yearly basis, we carry out back-to-school campaigns. For the past 9 years, we've been carrying out back-to-school campaigns, and we have also been promoting sports, which led to the creation of the ETOKE Sports Academy for the underprivileged too, which has been doing very well in the domain of promoting young talents, grassroots football, in not only in the Mutengene, but in the Southwest as a whole.
Southwest as a whole. Now, they call you the husband of all widows. Why?
It's just coincidental, because I was born on the 23rd of June, which coincides with the day set aside by the United Nations for the celebration of International Widows Day.
Okay.
And for a couple of years now, I've been celebrating my widows, my birthday
with the widows.
With the widows, and it just coincided because I have that affection for widows. My activities has been people oriented since 2013, and I want to use the opportunity to send a special greeting to the widows of Fako, my wives.
Yeah, you call them your wives.
They know that they will never walk alone. I'm with them.
How far they've been benefiting from that affection in their widowhood?
Well, my family has been doing the best it could do, because our organization is not an organization that apply for grants. No, the money we have been using has been coming from our personal businesses. My wife and myself, our group of companies
and friends.
We make sure we do corporate social responsibility, and I think we have been assisting the widows, not only the widows, but the less privileged, because we have orphans. Like we've been offering scholarships, yes, but to IDPs and orphans. Last year we did it. This year we did a similar activity, and we have to continue, because it's going to continue for as long as we live, because we need to give back to the society. God blesses us to bless others.
Oh, bless those who bless you, it's said, it is written. Now, when you look at the, should I say, the social responsibilities that Honorable ETOKE incarnates, does it only remain with the underprivileged? I know your focus is underprivileged because they don't have the means to send their children to school. How receptive are you vis-a-vis all those who come? Because I know they come in thousands, and you might not be able to have all the means. How do you organize to make sure those who have not benefited will benefit probably subsequently?
That is the reason why you have an office. The appeal letters are many. As you see, even the government of Cameroon cannot carry out all the projects at once. We select them according to the priority, and we try to assist those who can assist. For those who cannot assist at the time, we can postpone it. But our priority is for the underprivileged. And it's not only, there are some people you see walking on the streets, you think they are well-to-do, but they are underprivileged. Who is an underprivileged?
You need to study that.
Yes, you need to study that. So we have our criteria, and we make sure we assist those who are in need. The orphans, the widows. The widows, some people think widowhood is a curse. It's not a curse. They didn't put themselves into such situations. And I want to let you know that there are some widows who are far better than
the living.
Yes.
Than the living.
Yes. So I want to let you know that we make sure we assist those who think we can help.
Here we talk of veuve heureuse, the happy widows.
Happy widows. There are some happy widows, but it's not a good name,
Yeah, it's not a good name. Anyway, it's stigmatizing. Anyways, because first of all, widow is widow. Now look at the way you're encouraging young people, maybe to pick up sports and to empower them through sports and so on. And we know that there are a lot of challenges in that sector. Just look at the crisis. Anyway, I'm talking about the sports, the crisis within the sports domain. Does it discourage you to keep on, trying to build budding stars, be as a nursery?
No, I don't think so. I think this ETOKE Sports Academy started through inter-quarter competitions. Last week we just ended with the 9th edition of Honorable ETOKE Inter-Quarter. From there we pick talents. We're doing selection, we go do detection, trials to have young talents. And I'm proud to say today, for about 9 years, Mutengene has groomed young players that we are proud to say ETOKE Sports Academy will be playing the 2nd division for this first time, because of the work the technical staff and the administration has been doing. So we just need to continue, despite the restive nature of our region, we need to continue to work with these children.
How do you think sports has reshaped the minds of the people of Mutengene? Cham, as it's always so fondly called. And then when they talk of Cham, there is fear, but we see children like you, children like our own brother Ashunyanti, our Mutengene children, etc. Can we say you have been able to change the mindset of the perception, that the apprehension that people have about Mutengene?
I want to let you know that gone are those days when they used to say good things don't come from Mutengene. I'm a product from Mutengene, and I want to let you know that Mutengene today can pride itself of the first Anglo-Saxon sports academy in the country, and we have the first. Why do you
say that there's Tarakwan?
No, first Anglo-Saxon sports academy in the country with education in the campus. You have on campus we have general education, commercial, and industrial. There's no sports academy in the region that provides that. You can only have in Kaji in Douala, no advert. and the others. Yes. So we have this facility on the same campus. That is the reason why we encourage parents to send most parents want their children to play football.
Yeah.
And they want their children to go to school. Our facility there provides both. So that is the reason why you see most parents have decided this year to send their children to ETOKE Sports Academy, where they can study while playing football. So we blend sports and education in the same campus.
Good things they used to say will not come from Mutengene. Is Mutengene now a good place? Loving.
I want to let you know that
inviting.
Mutengene, the face of Mutengene has changed. Mutengene is not the Mutengene you used to know. Mutengene has changed drastically. If you look at the caliber of people that are coming from Mutengene, you look at the developmental projects that are going on in Mutengene, who could believe that Mutengene will have the number of schools that we have today? Mutengene has so many schools.
And the personalities that we have.
So many schools. And it's difficult to have sports academies that have everything. We have our pitch, we have everything. So Mutengene is a place to be today.
Let us just flash back during the holidays activities before, how did the activities end? Because we know you organize these things to make sure the children are kept, they are controlled, they should not go wayward, and so that they could get back to school, at least they have studied something, camaraderie, rather than leaving them, because we know some parents used to be afraid to send their children in Mutengene, or to Mutengene rather.
Just like last year, we offered free holiday classes to keep the children busy. We could not allow them to stay at home for 3 months.
Or walk around.
Yes, so we gave them 1 month free holiday classes, coupled with the interquarter competition. They say an idle mind in the devil's workshop. So we had to keep them busy to prepare them. And this is the time for them to go back to school. We had to do it. And doing it, we had to accompany them by giving them books, scholarship, to assist those parents who had difficulties. And we have not ended there, because our campaign has phases as usual. There are some students who have come to school recently. We'll make sure we'll give them scholarship for them to go to school.
When classes resume in the Northwest and Southwest regions, even though we know that it's effective in an area like Kambe. But we say courage to those who've been able to do that, but then it is a child's right to education. Now let's get very quickly this series of reports on still back to school and the challenges when it comes to the climate, because it was not easy on that first day. We were not expecting, because it was very sunny for the past 3 days, and on that day it's like God said there should be rain on that day of school reopening. Let's have these reports. We'll come back.
As the academic year kicked off, parents gathered outside campuses across the region, eager to see their children off, particularly those starting secondary school for the first time. It was not at all easy, especially with the heavy downpour. Just that I was already prepared. A lot of children were blocked today because of the rains. Despite the heavy downpour, the determination of these parents was palpable. Arms with umbrellas, they waited patiently, undeterred by the rain. It's been raining since 5 a.m. I was just obliged to leave my home so the children could at least go to school today. If not, they would have been at home. However, their efforts were thwarted when schools restricted access to visitors, leaving many parents stranded outside in the storm. Some schools, in an attempt to manage crowd control, opened their gates entirely. Parents were not received, were blocked outside. I wanted to go inside to get the list so I could register my child. But again, some neighborhoods were flooded. The torrential rains did not just create inconvenience at the school gates. Floodwaters surged in some communities, making it impossible for students to leave their homes. Parents and students alike were caught in the chaotic scenario, with the rain showing no sign of easing. Since Monday, relentless rains have submerged Mabantha, causing widespread flooding that has left children unable to attend school. Most students have been trapped at home since the flooding began, with only a few able to make a perilous journey to their classes. Parents are now forced to carry children through deep waters to reach their flooded homes, adding to the daily struggle.
Just a little bit of rain, water is everywhere, it enters our houses, disturb our children from going to school.
The constant presence of flood water has made navigating the area increasingly difficult. Residents have grown accustomed to walking through the waters, which have turned the environment into a makeshift waterway.
For inside houses, there will not be better, not day, no nothing, not day safe. I run walls, I can't say I can't trust see my brother for him stay.
The rising waters have led to some homes being abandoned, with residents either evacuating or enduring life in increasingly uninhabitable conditions.
We suspend them up, but with time, moisture destroys them still. When you stay for a short while, let me say 2 weeks without on your TV, once you on it, it disturbs because of moisture. The walls are moisturized because of too much water.
Local businesses are also suffering as the flooding disrupts commerce and affects economic stability. Many properties have been severely damaged, and the flooded water, often mixed with filth, poses serious health risk. The absence of proper drainage infrastructure and inadequate urban planning are blamed for exacerbating the situation, as ongoing construction and refilling projects in some areas worsen conditions elsewhere.
Create us gutters, make us good roads. Because when we go to the market at times and buy, it is not easy to have a bike even to come here because of bad roads.
Despite the challenges, some children continue to play in the contaminated waters, unaware of the health dangers. The community is anxiously awaiting government intervention to address the crisis, while residents cope with the pervasive effects of the flooding.
The start of a new school year in Cameroon has been met with concerns over textbook prices, sparking debates among parents and bookstore owners. According to reports, the prices of some textbooks have increased significantly, with hikes ranging from 100 to 500 francs. Presidents of the National Syndicate of Bookstores and Office Supply Stores offered insight into the price fluctuations during a visit to bookshops in Douala. Our findings show that some textbooks have increased in price, while some have decreased. The rest have retained their previous prices, like these biology textbooks has seen a decrease of 500 CFA francs. Parents' reactions to the price changes are varied. Some find the prices affordable. The textbook price fluctuations have elicited diverse responses from parents across the city.
It's affordable and it's not expensive. But would you buy like workbook now? And the price is okay, it's not it's bad.
The prices may not have changed much, but the overall cost of living has increased, affecting our purchasing power. Some parents find the prices manageable, citing minimal changes, while others express concerns on the impact of inflation on their purchasing power.
Sheriff Saleh and Maureen, welcome back. You are on Retrospective. I'm KEDJANG Henri Atembi. And of course, my guest is Honorable Fritz N. He's the CEO of the United Action for Underprivileged Foundation and has been doing a lot of things. Teach a man to fish rather than giving him a fish on a daily basis. Honorable, you've been giving the underprivileged, the widows. It's just like you distribute. How else do you think you can empower these women rather than waiting to be giving them fish, or rather than teaching them how to fish?
Well, thank you for that question. We started with a Women Economic Empowerment Forum in Tico in 2021, in which we empowered some widows. I think it's high time we carry out another campaign, because I intend in the nearest future to launch another edition, because I realized that it was very impactful, because most of those widows, after the capacity building seminar that took place at Gulf in Tico, most of them have picked up from there, and we need to examine the situation. We look at those who succeeded
and those who are still lagging,
and those who are lagging behind. We see how we can empower them, because I think we cannot continue to give them. But I want to really appreciate what they are doing. The widows I know, my widows in Faku, they are very hardworking. They have a very, very organized association, like the Tico Widows Association, which carry out seminars,
training,
capacity building, training, and so on. Through the sub-delegate of women empowerment and the family, they have been doing a lot. And I think I'll call on other widows in other localities to try to copy from what the widows in Tico subdivision are doing. They are doing very well, because you cannot succeed alone. In a group, they easily solidify, and they are doing very well. We just need to continue to empower them. As a means, we have the means, we'll continue to empower them.
It's an opportunity for us to pack out of this place, not without saying, extending greetings to the Tico, the Mutengene, Ekona, Mbenge. When you talk about Ekona, I have a lot of nostalgia. Growing up in Ekona with other big brothers like the Tatos, Stephen, Brother Ita, Panjomo, Kevin. The list is long. Widows in Muyuka, those in the Munyenge, that is your jurisdiction. Could you just say warm greetings to them?
Well, I have somebody, I have a focal point. Mr. Obanako is in charge. I'm trying to make sure he brings new names
with them,
so that yes, he is the liaison, so that we can have a few from the Moyuka subdivision, add with the ones of Tico, and see how we can impact their lives, as we've been doing. I think it's really necessary, especially with the present socio-political situation. Things are really hard on them.
That's good. Honorable ETOKE, thanks very much for being here with us.
It was a pleasure, Mr. KEDJANG.
And I must remind our televiewers that you are the CEO of the United Actions for the Underprivileged Foundation. Of course, they call him the husband of all widows, who is already preparing what is known to be an explosive women economic empowerment forum that will be coming up soon. We will be coming back shortly after this. Welcome back to join me. I'm with my second guest, Julius GANBOBGA. He is a seasoned educationist with the private sector. Many say he has the destiny of the children in his hands. Thanks and welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Why are you referred to as such? The man who has the destiny of the children in his hands.
Well, I believe that all children are born with destiny, but it needs somebody who can successfully guide and lead them to their destiny. That is why I always say we put wings on dreams, because you can dream and you dream. Without any wing, you will not fly. So our policy, our working with the children, our working with the students throughout in all our institutions has been the idea of letting them to know that they have a dream, and we work out the wings for them so that they can fly.
Now let us take an aperture of how you resumed school during this past, on the 9th of September. How was it at the Destiny?
Well, at the level of Destiny Kids Bilingual Nursery and Primary Schools, Bepanda, Omispo and Daido, I believe that it was normal that school resumed on Monday the 9th. And it has been a kind of tradition. I don't know whether it is a coincidence or a tradition that I discovered that every academic year, the start of the academic year, the first day of the academic year, it used to rain cat and dogs. And that day, it really rained cat and dogs here in Douala. But because of the zeal, because the people have been out for long, that zeal to come back and meet their friends, to come and meet their teachers. You know, one thing with education is the teaching environment. where there is the passion, where the teachers teach with passion, the children will always want to come and meet them. So I saw that on that particular day, children were crying, even though it was rainy, seriously, because they have been long without seeing their teachers. And so they came back to school in their numbers.
How was it challenging it was on that during this first week?
Well, I don't even think that it is anywhere. It can be
just a
challenge.
normal routine. I'm talking about maybe the financial challenges, the the hard times. Maybe at the destiny, the parents will come and complain, we would not have the money now, and the new environment for the new children too, who are coming for the first time there.
Yes, it is normal. We know that there is a shift in the economic life of the people negatively, because prices are high in the market and many things, and it is affecting the normal life of the average families. So it is just normal that many people are coming to school. Even up to now, when you go to schools, most of the classrooms are filled, but not that the parents have respected normal registration. It is because of economic hardship, and they will keep complaining, but we know that
give them some
education is the right of the children. While the parents know that it is the right of the children, the school administration knows too that it is the right of the children. So there is always the need to exercise some flexibility so that with time they can meet up with what they are supposed to do. And that is just what I feel that in almost all the schools it is happening. Many children have not gone to school. I believe that effective resumption will be from next week, because there are still many parents who are still struggling to raise money to go and do registration in school and to buy books and to do many other things. School resumption will actually, it has started, but it will go in full gear, I want to think, from next week in the French region of Cameroon.
There is this other problem that you watched on the report, the issue of books. How are you probably going to manage that in your institution, knowing that, well, there is this conflict of textbooks, though there's an official book list? Are you saying that you prescribe your own textbooks, or you are going to wait for the parents or for the textbooks to come as prescribed? Or the teachers might maybe choose some textbooks for the children?
Yeah, we believe that there is a national book list, and so long as you are operating under that legality, you have to follow what is prescribed by the government. I want to believe that there are also experts in the ministry who study the curriculum and interpret the textbooks before they prescribe that these are the books that should be used in the national book list. I am also a person of the opinion that despite the idea of the national book list, there can be supplementary books that can interpret your own vision
as a teacher.
Not that you do without the prescribed textbooks by the government, but to facilitate, because those books too are written by teachers. And I believe that after everything, a teacher remains the first textbook for the student or the pupil. You can have all the library and so on and so forth, but the teacher is the first textbook for the learners.
There is equally the issue of identification. It is new. We understand that, well, Cameroon is moving into identifying students to be able to track them, follow them, their pathway to the summit of the ladder. How are you intending to implement that, within the ranks of your group of institutions?
Yeah, with the idea of digitalization, innovations are coming up. I want to appreciate the idea of the Honorable Minister of Secondary Education for bringing in that idea that there is what they call unique matriculation. This unique matriculation entails that if a student leaves from one school to another, that student is supposed to maintain the very matriculation. For instance, you started school from 1 in school A, and after 2 years you go to school B. The matriculation that you started with in school A, it will maintain. And this one will go to solve a lot of issues, because you see quality jobs in education, because most parents come when a child is proven to be succeeding in secondary school at the level of Form 3, Form 4, parents will come and say that I want this child to go in for GCE, ordinary level. After 1 year of passing the GCE ordinary level, parents will come pressing on you that this child should write the GCE advanced level. The text says that ordinary level is written after 5 years of studies. Advanced level written after 2 years of studies. You see that with this new system of unique matriculation, it can be monitored successfully to know that this student has done this number of years to write the ordinary level. This student has done this number of years to write the advanced levels. And this unique matriculation system will also go to solve another one thing, the idea of clandestine schools. Because with the common platform that you register the student and you write the name there, and it automatically generates that unique matriculation, it generates under the name of a school, so much so that a clandestine school cannot be able to generate a matriculation from that system. So with this digital method, I believe that it will go a long way to solve a lot of things.
Now, Mr. GANBOBGA, Julius, every year I understand your group of institutions organize what is known as a cultural day, in line with the cultural day in the country. And people have seen a lot of innovations that you've brought in. It is no secret that you were the first, or if not, you are the first to have introduced what is known as industrial education in the primary school. And I was very pleased to hear that it is important. Can you please expatiate on what that means? Because it is so strange and still remains strange to many people.
Yes, I want to believe that these are two different ideas you have asked. You have talked of industrialization and you have talked of multiculturalism.
Come on.
At the level of industrialization, you see a kind of education that we seem to see being tailored and put in place is a kind of education to train pupils and students to remember things. And when we live in a place and we are training the young generation only to grow up and be remembering things, who discovered River Niger, this one, who discovered this one, I don't believe that we are leading those children into the storeroom of their own knowledge. The role of a teacher is not to take the learners into his own storeroom of knowledge or into his library, but to lead the learners into their own storeroom of knowledge. And in so doing, we encourage the idea of creativity through industrialization, so that the children, when they are growing up, they can know that, excuse me, if you use this and you can produce this. Use this and this, you can produce this. And so we started with the idea right from the primary school. That is why Destiny Kid bilingual nursery and primary schools, Bepanda, Omispo, and Daido, we say that they are industrial primary schools, because our goal, like the Bible says, teach the children the way they should grow, and when they will be old, they will not depart from it. You see, the educational system, at the end of the day, it is like we are setting an examination, and the goal of the objective is to see the first person to climb a tree. And you keep an elephant and a monkey, and you set that exam, that the first person to climb a tree. It would be wrong evaluation, because the elephant also has something that the monkey cannot do. So that is what we are trying to see, that when learners pass through us, they should specialize, they should be able to focus. We discover what is their talent, and develop them more. At the level of multiculturalism, there is a day set aside every February for schools to practice multiculturalism.
Do they practice actually?
I
know
don't
Destiny
know.
does that. I have not seen it anywhere else.
I cannot know. You are the one telling me like a journalist that you have not yet seen it and you have actually seen us putting us in place. And I'm not a journalist if you say so, but I say at the level of Destiny Kid Bilingual Nursery and Primary School, we have brought it to our secondary school level, City College of Arts, Science and Technology, CAS Douala. We know that all these children in the urban area, they come from different cultural backgrounds, and it is very necessary to blend their cultural backgrounds together so that they can have a good learning environment. I will not come from Northwest, you come from Southwest, somebody comes from the West, another from the South, and we look at the culture of the people from the South as if it is taboo, or Northwest as if it is taboo, and so on. We all blend all these things together to show the beauty in diversity. Cameroon is blessed with diversity of culture, and when we sandwich all this together, it gives the uniqueness of a successful learning environment.
I was marveled, just like any other, all the other visitors, when we saw neighboring culture from neighboring Nigeria, the young people practicing it. Why did you extend the boundaries?
Yes, because at the level of our schools, we are not teaching only Cameroonians. We also have Nigerians in the school. And there are so many Nigerians in Cameroon. When we accept foreigners in our country, we should be prepared to accept their cultures, their whys and hows. And so, at the level of our schools, we make the foreigners, especially the Nigerians who make about 30% of the school, to know that they have a sense of belonging, their culture, they can live and they practice their culture. Because tomorrow they will go back home. And when they go back home, let their own children be able to identify with the do's and don'ts of their people. That is education. We don't learn in an imaginary world. We learn practically, so that what is in the society should be what is in the society. A good educational system, what does it entail? Problem solving. A good educational system is the one that is tailored to solve the problem of that environment. So that is our focus in Destiny Kid Bilingual Nursery and Primary School group of schools, and in City College of Art, Science and Technology. There we say that what we are putting wings on dreams. Our motto of Destiny Kid is, behold, we will make all things new. And that is the revolution we are bringing into the system.
Let us retrospect before we pack out. Though this would have been done long time ago, immediately the results, the Ministry of Education published the results alongside the examination boards. How did you fare?
Yeah, with the primary schools, I think it is normal that they have been scoring their 100% throughout, from creation in the government common entrance examination and the first school living. So with the secondary schools, we have the progressive comprehensive evening school. That is the mother of all evening schools in Douala. We offer the general and the commercial education at both levels, and the scores, despite the fact that there was a drop in the percentage, but both levels nationally, but both levels witnessed above 75% pass. So it was something that, it is something to write home about. It is something to write home about. So generally speaking, all the schools are doing well, but we are still looking further to do better.
We'll be coming back to you to wrap up on this edition of the program Retrospective. Let's turn to our technicians to gave us this report. You know, it's been a very devastating one in the far north region of the country, with floods after the Danai Bridge was brought down by the violent, turbulent deluge.
The Danai Bridge, a critical link between the two main sections of Yagwa, succumbed to the relentless torrential rains that recently flooded the town and some parts of the far north region. The collapse of the bridge, September 12, 2024, has exacerbated the town's woes following floods that claimed 7 lives in Maga and led to the displacement of thousands.
Going to the high water current due to, of course, the rise in the water level in Mayo Danai, the main bridge linking the two sections of Yagwa town, linking the Yagwa town to the, Vele, Maga and Kaikai subdivisions break off early this morning.
The destruction of the bridge, reportedly constructed 112 years ago, has brought socio-economic activities to a grinding halt. The movement of people and goods has been severely impacted, with students, teachers and traders facing significant challenges in their daily commute.
The students, as you've noticed this morning, can't have access to their various schools. Also, we have the distortion of socio-economic activities which take place on both sides. Remember that the main market of Yagwa is situated in the southern part of Mayo Danai River, and we also have, of course, people coming not only from the northern part of Yagwa town, but also from other subdivisions.
In response to the crisis, the mayor of Yagwa has implemented emergency measures by providing canoes to facilitate movement across the river.
The council can do is to, increase the number of canoes, but they will still remain insignificant with high risks for, of course, students and teachers, but also the population getting it. So the council will obviously turn to the government and other partners.
However, these temporary solutions highlight the pressing need for a permanent fix. Until reconstruction efforts commence, the town remains in a state of disconnection with its economic and social fabric strained. The heavy rains that have battered Yagwa in recent days have resulted in widespread flooding, leaving many residents, including school children like Zainabu, unable to return to their studies. The floods have devastated the area, leaving victims in a state of despair as they grapple with the impacts of the natural disaster.
Since Monday, I did not went to school because I lost all the materials to go to school. Nothing.
In the Dianari neighborhood, more than 300 residents have been forced to flee their homes, seeking refuge elsewhere. The community has resorted to building makeshift barriers with sandbags in a desperate attempt to hold back the encroaching waters. Despite their efforts, the situation remains critical, with locals pleading for assistance as they face the overwhelming challenges of the flood.
On ne pouvait pas barrer ces eaux. Il y a donc eu des quartiers traditionnellement qui sont dans les eaux quand il y a la saison de pluie.
In the nearby town of Magba, the situation is equally dire. The floods have resulted in 7 deaths, injured 18 people, and displaced 58 individuals. Additionally, 4,000 people have been relocated to a temporary shelter in the center of Magba. The scale of the disaster has prompted urgent calls for aid as the affected communities struggle to cope with extensive damage and displacement caused by the floodwaters.
The new monkeypox case identified at the Jikinemeki Health District, Mbam and Enugu Division of the Central Region, what has pushed for the information alert. the health boss once more on what monkeypox is all about.
It is a zoonotic disease that is transmitted to human mainly through contact with infected product. Human to human transmission is also possible, especially through close contacts.
Since the beginning of this 2024, the country counts 46 suspected cases, out of which 6 were confirmed. And out of that number, 2 deaths in the southwest, northwest, littoral, and recently the central region. With symptoms, painful rash, enlarged lymph nodes, fever, headache, fatigue, care and follow-up consist mainly to relieve the symptoms of patients. Prevention is possible thanks to the administration of vaccine. And it is in this light that the first dose of 500 vaccine will be available soon. An offer by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC Africa, is in use in many epidemic countries, principally for persons at risk, notably health personnel and epidemic zones. From monkeypox, updates on COVID-19 with some 300 new cases this 2024, though no death, and emergencies of diphtheria and whooping cough were given. As for cholera,
although no outbreak have been reported in the course of 2024, the rainy season and recent floods in the far north and north regions compel us to remain vigilant.
Manauda Malashi briefing the press and public at large on the epidemiological situation of monkeypox and other public health emergencies in the country, this alongside preventive measures in place.
Thanks very much, Beatrice and Camu. I'm Gladys and Morinti with those reports, and I'm still with my guest, Julius GANBOBGA, educationist, season 1, of course, with the private sector, which, of course, they have been making their own modest contribution. We know that there are 8,000 private institutions in the country, and of course, maybe above, adding to the more than 14,000, government institutions, primary and secondary, that exist in the country. As one of the key players in the education sector, how do you evaluate private education in Cameroon?
Well, I want to believe that private education has a place in Cameroon. That is from the basic right up to higher institution. You see, these are actors who have come in to also solve a problem, because the government is not able to do everything. The government is not able to give the infrastructure and everything single-handedly to see that Cameroonians are educated. And so that is why the government also comes in to subsidize these private sectors, because of the contribution that they are making into the educational landscape. They are also part of the policy makers, because it is not like everything is prescribed onto them. The government recognizes the place of the private sector. So
that's why
that is why they sit together and they make the policy of education in the country. When you go to evaluate the quality of education from the output, let me talk of the output. If education truly, the quality is determined by the certificate, I want to think that some of the best results, most of, not some of, come from the private sectors. That is the private and the missions. Yes, these are those who provide the best results in the country, meaning that they are contributing very, very positively.
We have, anyway, it is not like a secret, but we know it exists because people need to broaden their what I'll call their revenue base. And so they say most of the teachers in the secondary, in the government schools, apply their trick too with the private sector, and probably they're giving more to the private sector than to the government sector where they are recruited. That is why you people have good results all the time.
It is
and
not,
to their detriment.
It is not about those people from the government schools, because I want to believe that a child who lives from advanced level and goes to a government teachers training college to study pedagogy, classroom management, and so on, is nothing as compared to somebody who has A level, goes to university and studies content. And no matter the skills that I have, like a trained teacher to manage this, but to manage this, the person who has content is that person who has studied that subject in the university. And so, content and the container, which one do you prefer? I believe that any person will go for the content and not the container. So saying that they are those who come to provide the result, it will be an overstatement, because they don't have, like I am saying, they are like the containers, because they're limited to package themselves like good containers. Now, at the level of their schools, it is the laissez-faire of the system too. Some schools, mostly in urban areas, they are overstaffed. They are overstaffed, and the control system is not there. And so, teaching in government schools and so on, there is too much laissez-faire. That is why you see a teacher, he has 1 hour per week, he has 1 day per week, he has 5 hours per week. And so, instead of sitting idly, they will come to have hours in private schools. Remember, having these hours in private school, what actually keeps them working is the follow-up in the private school. You maintain your position as a teacher given your output. So where there is no output, it is clear that you will not maintain your position. That is what pushes them to work. But I want to say that most of these people who are not of the government service, who have just left from the university with content, they are loaded. They are teaching with that ambition because they want to make a name. And that accounts for the success that these private schools register.
Why do we say the private sector is too expensive? That's apprehension.
I don't want to think that the private sector is too expensive because there is no price tag that we can ever attach to education. You cannot buy education. You cannot buy education. So, if we say that the government, the private school is too expensive, think of the number of teachers, think of this, all what is given. Nobody can ever go to the market and say that I want knowledge, but for this amount I want. So we cannot quantify, we cannot give the price of knowledge.
Just like health has no price.
Has no price.
Mr. Julius GANBOBGA, thanks for coming and be part of this program.
It has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure.
And that is where we draw the curtains for this edition of the program Retrospective. With me, KEDJANG Henri Atembe. My guests were Honorable ETOKE Fritz N and Julius GANBOBGA. Thanking you, and of course, Monique Nausifotso will be your guest or your host next week. Goodbye.